Mr. Clerk, for a motion.
Mr. President, I have a priority motion. Senator Hunt would move to recommit the bill to committee.
Senator Hunt, you are recognized to open on your motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was a little far down in the queue, and I have some stuff to say, so I'll withdraw this motion, but I needed to talk on a couple things. This statute that we have that was written a long time ago, so there's no way we can change it, because this is just, people before us decided to do that. I'm sorry, I'm here to change statute. I'm here to make life better for Nebraskans, and I think that we all need to have the political courage to do our jobs, which is look at statute and say, what's wrong with this? When this was passed, what historically was going on? What were the biases and the beliefs that people had at that time? And how do we make this better to serve people today? So, if this is about science and this is about reason and evidence, changing page 1, line 18, over and over in this whole thing, unborn child to fetus, that is too big of an ask for you? We are still in the same Neanderthal mindset of the people who wrote that trash in the first place. Senator Bosselman's story that he read, I'm sure we're going to hear many more stories like this because anyone can make up a story, and I don't know if that one was made up, but I don't believe some of this stuff because that story didn't happen in Nebraska, and that patient would not have been allowed to get an abortion in Nebraska because doctors, as they testified in committee, as they've written letters about, and as is the standard that they're held to as professionals, doctors cannot give abortions in Nebraska to people who are not completely certain about their decision. Abortion has the highest decisional certainty rate of any medical procedure at 98, 99%. As I've continually said, that 1 to 2% of people, we care about them, and we want to make sure that we're not giving them information that's not based on science, that could hurt them. We don't have medical evidence that shows the effect of very high doses of progesterone on women who are seeking to reverse an abortion. I called the abortion reversal hotline because I wanted to know what they're telling people. And I talked to a nurse, and then I looked up the phone number that she gave me to call back, and it's a phone number for a church in Colorado. That's where we want DHHS to send people? Are we gonna vote on this and you guys don't even know what it is? I called them, it took me a minute. I looked up the number. That's where she told me to call back. I don't know why. I don't know if that's a clinic. I don't know if that's a crisis pregnancy center, but that's what the number was for. I'm still waiting to hear back from them about which doctor in Omaha could do this reversal procedure because I called because I was trying to learn more about these kits that Dr. Delgado is selling. The nurse I spoke to on the phone said that they sell these kits to doctors. This is the same hotline that DHHS told Senator Wishart they would refer patients to should LB 209 pass. So when somebody proposes a new treatment, the burden is on them to prove scientifically that it works. This is not like a he said, she said between doctors about what we feel in our beliefs can happen. You can believe whatever you want about abortion. That's not anything to do with the argument that I'm making today. But if we're not giving people information that's backed by a rigorous study that we can prove is effective, that we can repeat, that's validated with the scientific community, then there's not enough evidence for us to impose this on citizens. Yes, this language and statute that's new, saying that it may not end your pregnancy if you only take the first pill. That is true, but we don't know that what DHHS is going to tell those patients is true, and that's on us. So you can live with that, I can't, and that's why I threw up this motion. It's really nice that pro-life obstetricians and their association believe this fantasy that abortion can be reversed. I thought that's no longer what the bill is about. But I think that if any obstetrician believes that and they're giving patients that information based on no science, this experimental treatment, they should lose their license because that's nuts. You know who doesn't support this? The American Medical Association, the FDA. They say this is crap because it is. Senator Slama was talking about the Nebraska Statistical Report on Abortions. Well, I've read this too. You know what it says? It says that the number of abortions has been going down, We should agree that's a good thing, right? Maybe it's because of those Choose Life license plates. Or maybe it's because people don't have access to abortion. We don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We don't know if people are choosing to have fewer abortions or if they don't have access to them. What we do know from this report is that we can see that patients under 15 have gotten abortions. We can see the number and percent of total abortions by reason, which includes incest, no access to contraception, no contraception used, sexual assault, socioeconomic, they can't afford to have a baby right now. So I would ask the proponents of this bill, what are you doing to help those women who sought an abortion because of incest, because of sexual assault, because they can't afford to have a baby? Maybe those things like increasing the tipped minimum wage from $2.13 an hour. You know how reasonable I was on that bill? I'm such a flaming liberal. I didn't want to be reasonable on any, I didn't want to compromise or work on that. I think the minimum wage should be $15. I don't think there should be a sub-minimum wage. You all think that. But I was reasonable and I said, could we take it from $2.13 to $4.50? That was my first ask. No go, non-starter. Could we take it to $3? No go, non-starter. Servers are some of the most well-paid employees in Nebraska, so rich. Well, we know that servers are more likely to be women. They're more likely to be subjected to sexual harassment at work. They're more likely to be in poverty. And it looks like, according to DHHS in this research, a lot of women in poverty get abortions. A lot of women who survive sexual assault get abortions. So what are we doing besides putting little designs on our metal license plates that we screw to the front and back of our car to help these women and tell them that we support the life that they choose to bring into this world? We ask women to make the moral decision to protect life, and then once they bring that life into this world and it's gay life, you can't have a job in Nebraska. We're not going to defend your right to have a job. And then when you're in poverty because you don't have a job, maybe you got caught with a joint once before, you won't be able to get SNAP. So then if you have to work a serving job to support maybe the family you do have, maybe just yourself, you're not going to be able to make a living wage at all. Oh, and you need health care? We all voted to expand Medicaid. I worked hard on that initiative. But we're going to slow walk that, and we're going to make sure there's a work requirement and there's tiered benefits. And then we stand up here and talk about workforce development? My brain is exploding. We want people to move to Nebraska. Senator Merman said that he knows people who move to Nebraska because it's conservative, because people want to live in a place where we have laws like this. And there are a lot of very conservative states that folks can move to. There are some very regressive, trash abortion laws getting passed all over the country. There are states with a low sub-minimum wage just like us. There's other states with no Medicaid expansion just like us. But I'm looking toward the future. I'm a young professional in this state. I'm a single parent. I'm a bisexual atheist. And I'm here in the Nebraska legislature, and I have the privilege of making laws for all the people in this state, along with all of you, who feel like they're not seen by us in here. I think it's wrong to make this argument about abortion. I think that we need to stick to talking about the science and the merits of why this bill makes no sense. But I've talked to so many of you off the mic, under the balcony, who agree with me. But you cannot vote against this bill because then you'll be attacked by the pro-life lobby. So I guess that's how we do it here in Nebraska. I would withdraw the motion. Thank you, Mr. President.